Hi guys, we're back again. Joining me this time now, we got Roy and Sapo again with Craig. So thank you guys so much for hopping on here and taking some time to, just talk to the audience a little bit and get to know about the game.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Um,
What's up, Caleb?
I just wanted to really, I guess, start out with you guys are kind of like the fathers of the sport, and not even in a joking sense. SpeedQB has been around for a long time now, but can you guys walk us through a little bit of the history of SpeedQB, like how we got to where we are?
Yeah, basically, this all started with a group of friends. It was me, Roy's brother Ramon, and Ramon's roommate Lyndon was lefty. So we just started playing as SYG, started, getting a lot of attention at the field, started making friends with the other teams, and we started to, slowly learn who the best teams were. And we were kind of making a splash, making noise. And we were watching people were watching us, and it came down to a point where we decided to put our skills to the test. And what we did, we started going around challenging a lot of teams that were already established because we were the new kid on the block. And it kind of grew from there.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think it was it's like a natural progression with the types of players we were or we are, and a lot of like-minded players too. It just boils down to, I think, skill-based matchmaking, right? When we first started, we were content with playing pubs in the beginning. So when we first started, like, pubs were exciting, it was fun, we'd go out there and play. And then after a while, it starts, you grow your skills, and when you're as, like, into the sport and hobby as we were going there playing, watching footage every night, and when you want to get better and better, you start just seeking out other opponents that are, like-minded as you and kind of have the same skill level, and it starts getting more fun to challenge yourself. So like Eric said, after a while, we started, gravitating less toward the public games, right? And started gravitating more towards like private games, team challenges. That just snowballed with all the surrounding teams and players because everyone was kind of felt that same way. They just didn't maybe have that same push or kind of organization to kind of, mobilize or whatever, galvanize the community and players together to give them an opportunity to kind of test their mettle against each other, So Tac City was a big part of that. That was the Tac City El Monte was the first field where we started doing team challenges, and then from there, like one team versus another team. Basically, it was a team challenge night, and that snowballed into some weekend events, SpeedQB Sundays, and then just grew from there.
Yeah. And then that was just, when it started, it was just California. It was just local to LA County. Then we started, taking it on the road. Our first trip was to Oregon, followed by Atlanta, and it just kind of snowballed from there. That's why we're linking up with Craig now from Elite Airsoft. We've met a lot of people in our trips and our journeys across the country and across the world, actually. This sport is a worldwide thing. This culture is worldwide, definitely. And that's just where it's gone. And like Caleb said, we've been doing this almost for like a decade now. And SpeakyB has been around for a very long time. And we're continually growing and trying to figure out what the future of this sport looks like.
I mean, you talk about it a little bit. What do you think the future holds for SpeedQB? Where is it? I mean, we kind of know where it's at now, but can you elaborate a little bit on where it currently is, where you think it's going, or where at least you would like to see the sport go?
Roy, do you want to answer? I have an answer,
Sure.
but
Yeah. Well, for me, the way I see it is, I think like what we're doing is not like new. You know what I mean? Like people have been wanting to shoot each other, whether through COD, video games, or whatever, paintball, different. As kids, you grow up shooting guns, so this is a very like core thing that we're doing. It's just a new way of doing it, like where you're not using water guns, you're not using whatever, you're using actually like airsoft guns that have like a mechanics and the feeling of real firearms to some extent, So for me, I think like the main area of the future for airsoft is how do we like take all that energy and take all that interest into guns and shooting each other and competitiveness, and how do we create like a formal culture behind it, you know, where we are, you know, team versus team and real life going at it after each other like that, you know. So I think like a lot of different sports, you know, have that history and legacy, so they have that culture. A lot of the newer sports, like extreme sports, like surfing, skating, all those things, they had to form that culture over years, you know, and decades and players. It's not someone giving a surfer a rule set and saying, hey, this is how you surf, you know. It's you going out there and riding waves, and then other surfers teaching the new surfers what this culture is about and how to, you know, have this etiquette where it's not just, you know, something that's, you know, skin deep or surface level. This is all kind of ingrained within us, and our goal, I think, for me at least, in terms of BQB in the future, is kind of mobilizing that energy and, you know, and that interest in this hobby and sport, and to create like a long-lasting platform where we can compete against each other using weapons like this and keeping it positive. You know what I mean? People probably never thought like skateboarding would be in the Olympics, you know, or snowboarding in the Olympics, but like, you know, when enough people really like, you know, share that same feeling and share that same excitement of that type of athleticism and that type of sport, you know, I think it can go a really long way, you know.
Yeah. And then, you know, from my perspective, you know, I come from a game dev background. So I kind of always saw what we were doing here as, you know, developing a real life video game, you know. Obviously, I do come from a paintball background, and the gut reaction for me, uh, in terms of format, was to follow something that I was familiar with. But at the same time, you know, after paintball, I'd spent a good decade in game development and understanding the design of first-person shooters. And you can see this year, SpeedQB, like there's more than one game mode out there. There's 5v5, we do 4v4 limited. The events we run with KWA with Fight Night, which is a completely different game mode, which incorporates a lot of other like elements like target shooting, which are things that we've always wanted to bring into the, you know, the game format. So I think for me, I see SpeedQB as an ever-changing game format. I don't think it's locked down to one format. It's not one game mode. It's not stuck to one format of, or one platform of gun even. We want to make this as true to this hobby and to the sport as possible by maintaining all the elements. Everybody that plays airsoft, for the most part, plays a first-person shooter of some kind. A good majority of them may also play paintball as well. So like, there's all these things that are part of this shooter culture, or like Roy said, we all grew up playing pretend guns, water guns, cap guns, BB guns. You graduate to paintball guns, you know, airsoft guns, and it kind of just becomes this big real life video game for us. And that's the challenge now. Like, what does that look like moving forward into the future?
I like that. That's really
Yeah, that was definitely the excitement. Yeah, the excitement to meet you guys and hear some of the trials, tribulations, growth, developing a team, doing it with your buddies, like your homies. Like, I mean, you just, you know, all right, we're going up against them. Normally we like them, but today we don't, you know. I mean, it's I love the competitive side. It's been a big deal for my family. It's a lot of my background as well, and I love it, man. I can't get enough of it. So happy you guys are here. Happy you guys are doing what you're doing, and you know, to segue into, I'm happy you guys are supporting the HTK Winter Series, which is a big deal for all of us.
Yeah, man. I mean, I still remember the first day setting foot inside HTK, meeting Jason and Harrison, and it was really raw in the beginning when that field was getting built out. But you could see the potential there, and like the talks that we would have of what this field could mean, especially for the United States in terms of SpeedQB and competitive airsoft. Like, I think that's probably one of the best venues in the world. And the United States, just like in terms of the potential it has, and the build that the recent remodeling that you've done, Craig, is really just kind of like brought that. I think everything we saw that could happen there is happening as a result of this, you know, this remodeling process and the work days you guys are spending there to make this, you know, a top tier venue for this sport, for SpeedQB, you know. So glad to be showing our support. Glad to have you on board. Running this event over there as well.
Yeah, and I could speak on that too. I think, there's participants, right? There's people that pull up, show up, and they participate, and then there's also people and teams that, go beyond that, and I'm not saying that everyone can make moves and all those things, everyone has different resources and different expertise that they can bring to the table. But to see what you guys have done, in partnership with HTK, and to really kind of organically take this on yourselves, is really, really commendable. And I really appreciate it, Craig. I appreciate people and teams like you guys that take this to the next level, right? That are not just content with, hey, when's the next tournament? Where are we going? It's like, yo, what can we do on the off season? I think these were like summarizing your exact words, Craig, was like, usually winter is when there's no, events are pretty quiet. Our team, has the drive and motivation. What can we do to help the community? How can we bring some events and some top tier competition to the players during kind of the off season? So what you guys have done in regards to organizing not just a tournament series, but all the work you guys have put in with Jason together, to make that field and the spectators, to make it a venue where players and teams can fly out and drive out and to come together and really have a memorable weekend, not just to compete, but to hang out with each other, I think is really, really important. We're happy to support. We're planning to be out there in January and in April for the championships, so thank you for that, guys. Thank you guys for all the hard work. One thing I want to add to that is what you guys have done to sacrifice your game time, right? To step aside and to put in all that work behind the scenes and to run and ref and host these events is no joke. I think two of the biggest challenges in SpeedQB and just competitive airsoft, no matter what format, one is the reffing, right? And two is organizing and hosting. Those are not easy things to do. Even the top fields in the country, have challenges. It's tough for them to host and ref events like this, and I think that marriage of field plus team, like you guys are doing, HTK with Elite, I think it's a really good recipe, right? Where you get experienced, seasoned players that know the game, that have been to the events, good or bad, that have issues with the reffing or staffing or different things, and being able to see those and then also take it upon yourselves, like, yo, we're going to do something about it, and we're going to join forces together to help, I think is a very, very good case study that I'm hopeful and excited for, and I would love to see more teams and more fields follow suit, and I think this is a good collaboration of all parties, field, team, SpeedQB, the community, the players, to bring better events in the future,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, it was an honor for us, man. To be super clear, it's I've only been in the sport playing with my son for a couple of years now, and when I got in, I wanted to show them more of the U.S. I wanted to be able to travel and comfortably, So I've made a lot of investments for my son and for the sport, but it's all for the fun. It's like the money doesn't matter if your passion is there. I mean, that's my background is triathlons. When I was in, man, I was 130% in. You couldn't tell me anything else. And now I just want to be vested for not only my family, my son, but teams. And like you said, we have seen around the United States great tournaments all over. But I took a lot of what wasn't super desirable and tried to remove it all and put it all on one field. Like wearing your mask all the way around. Your kids don't have to wear one. Parents don't. You can walk around the whole field and you're fully protected. That's a game changer.
True leadership.
Yeah. So, it's an honor for me. I'll go back to how I started. Was I got to watch you guys when you came to Nashville, in 2019. And I didn't know anything about it, right? Like, and I wasn't even in it. I wasn't in it for another year and a half. But to watch you guys put on a crazy event and have your guys play the whole time, like when I started noticing the business side of this, I wanted to be able to go, all right, SYG, you guys, you don't have responsibilities. I want you to come play again. And that was, and I know you guys got some young kids on your team who are starving to go play. And that's what I wanted to provide. And finally, I'm in the position, and with Jason's help, we're able to provide that now. So it's such a cool atmosphere of what we're trying to pull together from so many fronts, right? Like, I want to watch SYG play. I want, Roy, you not to be stressed out till midnight and us trying to, hit targets and all. Like, it will be laid out, right? Like, it should be, here's your golden ticket. Come hang for the weekend. Keep us in line when you're there, and we'll take care of the rest. This is an honor for Elite to be able to support the sport. And, the money is the money, right? Like, I wanted to be a little different. Jason wanted to be a little different. And, to be able to offer $7,000 in cash, it's probably going to be in one. So we're going to be laughing and, having a good time and stuff. But that's what this is about. It's not all about the money. It's about the money plus everything else, what we did for the sport here. So very, very exciting stuff, and just honored to have you guys behind it and support it.
Yeah, we're glad,
man.
Man. I think with this field, it's just one of the few places where we did have the freedom to do what we wanted, right? Like, there wasn't so many limitations, and that's attributed to you and Jason, of course, working this out. Because sometimes you can't do everything you want to do, whether it's, budgets or the limitations of what maybe the field's vision doesn't match ours. But this is a really great situation in that everybody kind of is aligned in the vision and what the purpose of this is, on so many levels. So I think it's a big step for us, and I really look forward to it next year.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. If there's nothing else that you guys have to say.
I do have a few things to say. Just come through, HTK, support Craig, support Elite Airsoft, and most of all, support SpeedQB. And thank you guys for your support as well. We'll see you soon.
Well said.
Yeah, we're excited to see you.
Of course, you can always watch online if you're unable to come physically and watch the games or compete in them. So there's definitely more than one way to support your format, and I'm looking forward to the SpeedQB games. So thank you guys so much, Roy, Sapo, Craig. Thank you so much for hopping on. And
thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Pop.
And I think that's it. So we're gonna, head out.
Peace.